All right, everyone, we're going to get started. We'd like to welcome Alex Noren here to the 2025 Bank of Utah Championship. Alex, number 17 in the world, highest ranked player in the field. It's been an eventful last couple of months, winning twice on the DP World Tour, including the BMW PGA Championship, and then obviously being a part of that winning European Ryder Cup team as a vice captain. How would you summarize what the last couple of months have been like?
Yeah, yeah. It started probably in 3M in Minnesota. I started playing good, got some good finishes there and Wyndham, and then, like you said, the 2 wins. Yeah, it was just the whole game. The whole game just got a little better. Worked on good stuff. Got a bit of momentum, and then so it's how golf goes. I think it's not just happens, but it happens with confidence, with a little bit of momentum, and then good practice.
And I guess how satisfying is it to see kind of how you've come into form, considering you were basically out from January through May with an injury there, dealing with that?
Yeah, I mean it's I got some help from having some experience in having an injury before, played a lot of years on tour. Didn't really. I don't think it would have been as maybe easy, or it would have been a lot harder when I was 25, 28 to come back. But it's at the end of the day, it's just golf or sport. So you and your team probably get a good formula how to do it, and then it's just to do it. And keep at it, even though it feels tough at moments. And yeah.
Awesome. And then before you open up to questions, you just got off your 9-hole pro-am playing the front 9 here at Black Desert. What's some of the things that stand out to you about the golf course and overall conditioning?
I mean, yeah, I think it's an unbelievable place, first of all. I think it's an interesting course. The greens are very fast, they can be pretty firm, I think. And they're not soft right now, but the early morning round and the wedges were stopping, but longer irons were bumping, and I think, when you tuck these pins, it looks like it can be very tricky shots into the greens and around the greens. You got to keep the ball in play because the rough is probably the most penal rough you've ever seen with the rocks, So I'm very excited to be here. Yeah.
All right, we'll open up to questions. You have a question, raise your hand. We'll start over here with Shed.
Alex, good morning. Thanks for being here. I think you're 8th in the DP World Tour standings right now, so I know why you're here. You're trying to move up from your current position. How much carryover is it from just the great play you've had over there to bring it here? I mean, it can't be that much different, but is there carryover?
Yeah, I mean both tours are somewhat alike. I mean, I've played over there more years than I have here, but here it tends to be a little faster greens. And like I said, I play most of my golf in the U.S. So it's not so much about where you play, but you got to just have the game for those courses and for the events. And I think but it obviously carries on the confidence or the play and what sort of strategy you have with the practice, and on the course. So overall, it's both tours carry over to each other. Yeah.
You probably could have made the European Ryder Cup team as well as you were playing. I'm curious if you were disappointed to not be there, or somewhat maybe happy to not be there, given the atmosphere and how difficult it ended up being for the European players.
Yeah, I think since I knew I was going to be a vice captain right after Wyndham,
right.
I was in on some of the meetings, trying to choose players, or it's not my decision in the end, but Luke just wanted our input, and the input was pretty clear that I hadn't performed well enough by the deadline sort of, and then I played really well, right around when they were going to pick and
Right.
then just after. So I wasn't disappointed, and I've been in the game for long enough to understand that you pick players based on the facts that you have at hand, and I think he picked the right team, and I was maybe third in line after. So, but it was cool because I also like, the older I get, the more I like coaching or coaching my kids or maybe helping out some young players. I got a nephew that's 16 that tries to become a pro. So it was interesting to be on the sort of coaching side of things, even though my role wasn't to coach the players, but maybe just an overall behind the scenes trying to get the team going,
Yeah, didn't have a hankering to hit a few shots.
No, it just, and as a player, I can really understand what the players are going through if they're playing well, just lipping out a bunch of putts. You just gotta stay with it, stay with it, and just small comments like that can help from maybe another player as well.
Other questions for Alex? Lisa?
I can hear you. Is it for the...
How important is it for you to solidify that standing on the DP World Top 10 to be in position to have your tour card for next year? Is that something you started the season with an intention of, and it seems that maybe you're obviously chasing that considering your schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I lost those 4.5 months in the beginning of the year, and I started somewhat good and then didn't play so good probably in like June, early July, and then I started playing good after that. So it was very much up in the air, and the medical status you get is not as good as the the top 100 out here or the top 10 there. So I hope to get those rankings from either top 100 here or top 10 there, and so it's very important. And then the elevated is a little bit of different things through world rankings. So I try to keep up all those three sort of rankings. I try to keep up. Yeah.
Quick follow-up, did something change, or did you find something in your game in July? It looked like, that's when you started notching those top 10s to the T3 in Minnesota. And did something click for you around then?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, I try to always work on sort of the same things. I try to see my coach a little bit more regularly. He's English, and he has players on I think 3 different tours, so it's not so easy for him to go as much, or for us to see each other as much as when I lived in Europe. So I made an effort to kind of try to see him more, and just with those regular visits, we started working on maybe a more neutral swing or more neutral in every part of the game, and then to kind of get a better baseline for a probably more versatile game on the course. So I changed quite a lot in how I practice. Not so much like the overall game on the course, but how I practice, and him and my caddy, work pretty tight, and then also got some good help from my old putting coach that's in Sweden that I don't see that much either. So he put me in the right direction as well. So.
Okay. Question right here.
Being that I'm knowing that this is your first time here playing, how were you introduced to this course, and what made you ultimately decide to come here and play? Yeah,
I mean, I think it. First of all, I wanted to play this event. I think it's a good tournament. It's good ranking points, and then also I learned a lot from last year. I took some time off in the fall, and I think it's better for me to kind of keep up my tournament play and not have too much time to just practice. Or so I'm a bit more in game shape when I have a regular season, a regular sort of schedule. So I was really excited to play here. Always liked sort of desert style and dry courses. I know it's not going to be that windy here, but I thought it would be a little bit windier, and I like that sort of golf. Yeah.
Do the fairways challenge you, and did you run into any issues with the rocks at any point?
Yeah, today I ran into them. It's pretty tight some areas. You got to play well. I think it's very demanding sort of around the greens. It's very slopey and you run off, but also, like you say, around the fairways. And sometimes I think you can play pretty conservatively as well. On a couple of the par fives on the front nine, you got to be very straight to take that on 4 days in a row. I think like the 5th or 6th hole. So it's interesting course, really.